It's been 2 years, exactly this time, the 7th of October in 2023. You had Hamas terrorists who attacked Israel from land, sea, and air and massacred 1,200 innocent people, abducted more than 250. For the past 2 years, Israel has been attempting to bring back as many of those 250 hostages as possible. We are told 48 are still in the custody of Hamas, perhaps only 20 still alive. But the retaliatory action that's been taken by Israel, that's left over 67,000 people, unfortunately dead, more than half women and children. The battle still rages on. There are many questions. Will there be peace? Can there be peace? The effort that's on at that resort at Sharm El Sheikh in Egypt, will it bring peace, this Trump 20-point agenda? And will Hamas have to leave the Gaza Strip for peace to prevail? Joining me are my colleagues on this special broadcast. Pranay Upadhyay joins us, all my other colleagues with me. Geeta, your take on what's happening right now, the effort for peace, and will Hamas have to let go of Gaza for peace?
Well, the Hamas will have to disarm itself. Of course, the talks are underway, but it's a question of trust. There is a huge trust deficit when it comes to Israel, and whether if Israel will go through the promises made in the deal, should there be an agreement between Hamas and Israel. And that's where the matter is stuck in Egypt, where complete disarmament is something they're still reluctant about, uncomfortable about. And the promises that are being made by Israel. But on the other hand, hostage release, first and foremost, is something that America and Israel are looking at with a lot of pressure on Netanyahu in Israel. So that's where it is at today. But the larger picture, 2 years hence, we're looking at 70,000 Palestinians dead. 20,000 of them are children. Is this what it takes for peace to and normalcy to return?
And there's neither peace nor normalcy. But
and I don't know if there will be.
And we don't know whether there will be. But Maria, if I could quickly draw you in, Hamas will have to leave Gaza if there is to be peace. Is this the only way forward? How do you look at this?
Yes, absolutely, it has to. I'm being reminded of that doctor who was there for the humanitarian work, Dr. Ala Al-Najjar, who was a Palestinian physician, who spoke about the situation in Gaza and actually gave us the image, which is harrowing, and how everyone seems to have been completely stripped of basic human dignity. It has to, that peace has to prevail, even if it comes at the cost of Hamas leaving Gaza. But there has to be a way forward out of this crisis. And let's look at the Palestinian cause here in a more sympathetic manner. I think the children of Gaza, the women of Gaza, deserve an answer here.
Oh, absolutely. Preeti, is there lack of sympathy or not adequate sympathy in the way Palestinians are suffering? Or is it time for the entire world to actually unite and say, let Hamas leave, perhaps there will be peace?
You know, Gaurav, is it time is actually, I think, that's laughable, because at least where I come from, you know, one can get into discussions and debates of displacement, occupation, decades over, and we can keep talking about the conflict. But if you're human today and you do not recognize with what is happening right now in Gaza and don't call it for what it is, which is genocide, then I don't think any of us, even with the view of being a journalist, can sit here. What is happening is genocide. You know, one might claim the Hamas started it, they lit the fire, or didn't start it, but at that point of time aggravated a conflict which was already on. And then it's for them, you know, it was coming. But I am sorry. I think we haven't said enough. I think as humanity, you know, I want to get, you know, if you want to get into cliches, as a race, we need to be ashamed that we have sat through what we have sat through and looked the other way. And I am not surprised, because there are political compulsions today, as you know, and it might not be diplomatically correct for me to say it. It might not be politically correct. No, I will say a few things.
Yes.
I don't think it's politically correct for me to say it. leave alone what's happening in Gaza, which I think is nothing but genocide, but what are we doing? We are now quoting the foreign minister of Taliban, where we know exactly what is happening to the women of Taliban.
Okay.
When there was an earthquake, women were not even pulled out of the debris. Why?
They're not allowed to
Were
touch
not,
women.
Forget about
Okay.
women are not
Okay,
allowed to speak.
Taliban is
Women
another
are-
debate.
No,
I'll come to
it's
Taliban.
not.
I'll come
It's
to
not.
Taliban. Let's
It is
stay
the
on
same.
Gaza.
It's humanity. It
Okay.
is humanity. Women are not allowed to speak. Women are not allowed to hear music. Women are not allowed to be seen.
Okay.
Women are not allowed to be rescued.
Okay,
But
Pranay wants to come in because
do
today
what we do.
we will debate Taliban at another time, but right now it's Gaza. Respond.
Gaurav, as far as the Gaza case is concerned, definitely it's a humanitarian crisis. But the history tells us that historically, the citizen perspective or the geopolitical perspective have always differed. The fate of common people have always been decided in the chambers and the tables where they do not have any representation, and we know how the boundaries have been drawn on this planet and how people's fate have been decided. If you see, Preeti was talking about the humanitarian crisis. Did anyone talk about the humanitarian crisis of Afghanistan? How many people died since US invasion? Did anyone talk about the Iraq invasion and the humanitarian crisis of Iraq? Over 2 lakh people died. In over 1,76,000, as per the accounts
Official
of
numbers.
many official number is 1,76,000 people lost their life in Afghanistan. Were they not Muslims, or were they not common people? Who made,
So
who
you're
make
saying
the
these are all
distinction?
agenda peddlers?
These are, look, geopolitics will always go by the real politic. They will decide their own agenda. Politics always, they think with their own perspective.
Okay.
But people's perspective will always remain. So is anyone concerned about the plight of Gaza people? And as far as the Hamas is concerned, forget about the name. But the same sentiment, after 2 years, will that sentiment go away? No.
Yeah, because there were celebrations, sadly, even today, Siddharth.
Absolutely.
It's so painful. Everyone has sympathy for the people of Palestine and people who are suffering. But in that same Gaza Strip, there are chaps who are celebrating the massacre of Israelis
In January,
not
Gaurav, how
acceptable.
did they release?
No,
How
that's
did they
not
release the
acceptable,
hostages?
Gaurav.
Yeah.
Nobody's
they
celebrating
gave
the
goodie
death
bags.
of anyone.
No,
And they should be
some
condemned.
people in
They
Palestine
should
are.
be condemned, Gaza.
Mementos,
They should
goodie
be
bags, is
condemned.
it the way they are going to? They are using it as a moment of their victory. Whatever you will do, we will say. Gaza has become a face of resistance. So resistance means like they are going to resist. Whatever Israel might be doing, Israel has also lost in last 2 years the intent with which they started this operation.
Okay.
Like eliminating Hamas, did they able to eliminate? No. As if you go and see the idea of social media tweets, it says that even today, Hamas has the capacity to launch a rocket. This remains the reality after 2
They
years.
already did.
And they did.
And
they did.
which is what Macron said. 25,000 soldiers at the beginning of the war, they still have 25,000 commandos. Nothing has changed on the
no,
ground
but
for
Siddharth,
Israel.
which